evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Turn Left. I am your host, Indiana's own Dana Black, coming to you live. Yes, all the way live from Black Pearl Studios. We talk about Indiana politics from the left side of things. Well, listen, y'all. Can we talk, and can we be just homies for a minute? There's a lot happening right now, and I want to make sure that we have a clear understanding of what exactly is going on in the world. I know sometimes people get, so there's so much happening that you can end up paralyzed and you really can't seem to find your way through, and you're not really sure how to get through these moments. But I think if we take a look at everything that's going on, we take our time and look at the situations that we find ourselves in, we will be able to find the courage to work with one another, like-minded people, to get some problems solved. So first, I want to let you know, I was supposed to have Carla on today. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it tonight. So I am going to reschedule that conversation because I believe you need to hear from the Indiana Latino Democratic Caucus, because what they are doing over there is incredibly powerful. So we are going to reschedule that. So in the meantime, Indiana's Own is just going to take some time to just, can I vent? Can I just vent for a minute? All right. So my whole show today just going to be a whole rant. The Indianapolis Star reports the pressure is mounting on Indiana's Senate Republicans, who are the roadblock to President Trump's plan to redraw the state's congressional mid-decade map. It's reached a fever pitch since Senate Pro Tem Roderick Bray, through a spokesperson, revealed publicly to Politico on October 22nd that his caucus doesn't have the votes to redistrict. Since then, a handful of local state senators who support redistricting have doubled down, and one prominent Senate leader, Chris Garton of Charlestown, made clear his positive position for the first time. Meanwhile, conservative activists from outside Indiana have vowed to come here to rally and organize against Indiana senators who oppose redistricting. On the other side, former Republican Governor Mitch Daniels has decided to weigh in with a column urging Indiana lawmakers to not redistrict. Most of the Republican senators have remained silent. The Indiana House already has the votes. The Senate needs at least 25 yeses to make the redistricting happen. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, who is among the earliest proponents of redistricting, could be the 26th vote if he's needed for a tie break. So why do they want redistricting? Well, the guy over in North Carolina who proposed redistricting for North Carolina was very, very clear. They want to redistrict so they can get more Republican seats to continue with Trump's policies. They don't care about representation or democracy. That's not what they're here for. They're here for power and control. Power and control. I want y'all to think about that. Republicans have the House in Indiana. They have the Senate. They have the governor's office. They have all the statewide offices. And they have 7 of the 9 seats that we send to Washington. And in Washington, Republicans control the House, the Senate, the White House, and they pretty much have the Supreme Court. They are all in control of all of these things. So how's it working out for America with Republicans in control of everything? Well, let's take a look, shall we? The Indianapolis Business Journal reports, in the midst of a federal government shutdown, the U.S. government's gross national debt surpassed $38 trillion Wednesday, a record number that highlights the accelerating accumulation of debt on America's balance sheet. It's also the fastest accumulation of $1 trillion in debt outside of the COVID-19 pandemic. The U.S. hit $37 trillion in gross national debt in August that year. The $38 trillion update is found in the latest Treasury Department report, which logs the nation's daily finances. Kent Smetters of the University of Pennsylvania's Penn Wharton budget model, who served in President George W. Bush's Treasury Department, told the Associated Press that a growing debt load over time leads ultimately to higher inflation, eroding Americans' purchasing power. The Government Accountability Office outlined some of the impacts of rising government debt on Americans, including higher borrowing costs for things like mortgages and cars, lower wages for businesses having less money available to invest, and more expensive goods and services. Michael Peterson, chair of and CEO of the Peter G. Peterson Foundation, said in a statement that reaching $38 trillion in debt during a government shutdown is the latest troubling sign that lawmakers are not meeting their basic fiscal duties. Okay, wait. The state senator from North Carolina and all the people are urging and encouraging Indiana to redistrict so that they can gain more Republican seats so that Trump can continue his policies. But we about to hit $38 trillion in debt because they're not meeting the minimum of their job, the basic fiscal duties. I mean, do we want more of that? Do we want more debt so that you can't get a mortgage and that you can't get a car loan if you need one? Is that what you want? Is that what we're fighting? Is that what Republicans are fighting for? Oh, no. But it gets better. Because under Republican control, the federal government is completely shut down and has been shut down for what is the second longest period of time of any government shutdown. The longest was under the first Trump administration. So now we have a second one. And it's probably going to surpass that one. And in the meantime, he tried to fire federal workers. And I want to give a big shout out to all the unions out there that said, no, we're not doing that. You're not firing people and you're going to have to pay people after the furlough is over. OK, they're not having it. They're not lying down for this nonsense. But people are still not getting paid. And already we're seeing federal workers having to go to food banks to get food. This is all under Republican control. Because, make America what? So this is where we are. Let's keep going. Because the Republicans want to continue down this path. This is what they want, okay? The federal government sent FSSA, which is our food stamp office, essentially, notifications that y'all probably shouldn't send out those November benefits to people. Y'all probably shouldn't send those out because we ain't got no money because we shut the government down. I'm sorry, say what? So, well, wait a minute. Really, it's food stamps? Are you talking about you're not sending food? Well, how many people in Indiana rely on food stamps? Well, approximately 610,000 men, women, and children receive benefits, which is about 9% of the population. So we already know that the federal workers are going to get food from the food banks and the food pantries. Now you got people who have just run out of SNAP benefits and they are not going to be able to buy groceries. Because obviously they're doing such a bang up job of running the government. See, I always wonder why people keep electing folks to run the government who actually despise the government. Republicans talk about over and over again how they hate government. They hate it until they want to snatch children out in the middle of the night and zip tie them. That's the only time they like government. Or I just don't understand why we keep electing people who keep telling you that they don't like government. And they're ruining it. They're literally ruining it. And while we have real issues like those 610,000 Hoosiers that won't be getting their benefits in November, our state policymakers are meeting to talk about annexing counties in Illinois. Something that will never happen. Something that will never, ever happen. It's never going to happen because both states have to agree to it. But here's the part that's crazy. There are 33 counties that want to secede from Illinois, and their average per capita income is $54,381. If they were a separate state, this income level would rank as the second lowest in the United States between Mississippi and West Virginia. For comparison, the remaining counties in Illinois have a 73,228 per capita income. So we're not even trying to bring on more people that can pay more into our tax base. We're going to be getting the poorest counties in Illinois, something that's not going to happen. But they're wasting time talking about this. This is what they're wasting time on. Nobody has talked about the plan to make sure that 610,000, about 9% of our population does not go hungry. And that includes WIC, y'all. The babies, family first, ain't that family values? These folks want people to go hungry. They want people to go hungry. And so in the meantime, government shut down. Government workers are not getting paid. SNAP benefits are not going to be delivered in November. Well, why is the government shut down, Dana? You haven't told me that. Well, remember that big ugly bill that they passed when they only needed 50 votes, majority to pass it in the spring, and they didn't need Democrats to get it through? Well, they knew in order to pass the budget, they needed 60 votes. But see, they didn't bother to do what you do when you're in negotiations, and that's talk to the other side to see how you can get the other 6 that you need to sign on to this budget so that the country doesn't shut down. They thought that they would just be able to run roughshod over the entire Democratic Party. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm actually proud of my Senate Republicans. I can't believe they're actually standing strong. They actually standing strong. Yes, it's hurtful and it's painful, and I get it. But do you know why they're standing strong? Because they know that without the Obamacare, ACA, supplemental income supplements, that people's health care premiums will go through the roof. And we're talking about millions of people who use the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, call it what you want, to take care of their family. They're business owners who they may be their own person, a sole proprietor, where they have their own business, they make enough money to sustain themselves, and they get the insurance through the portal. Their insurance will go up, right? Their insurance is going up. And Democrats are saying, listen, talk to us. Because you passed that big ugly bill that stripped those subsidies so that you could give huge tax breaks to millionaires, right? To millionaires, there are going to be millions of people that suffer, and it's not going to happen on our watch. So that's why there's a shutdown, because Republicans weren't smart enough to say, oh, shoot, we need 6 more votes. We better go talk to Democrats. But they want to blame Democrats. How do you blame somebody for not going to talk to them? You just thought that they was going to bow down like y'all bow down. You just thought they was going to capitulate like y'all capitulate. I'm just trying to figure out what the orange dude got on all y'all. That you guys are just going through this. Y'all just letting this happen. So, in the meantime, government shut down. People, federal workers not getting paid, or they're working and not getting paid. Air traffic controllers. Can you imagine? Like, I have to get on a flight soon. And you know what the stress levels are like when your bills are piling up. You know what your stress levels are like when you know that car payment is due or the rent is due and you a little short. You know how the anxiety comes. They already say being an air traffic controller is one of the most stressful jobs in our country. Now we have just added onto that the stress of not being able to pay their bills and having to go to work because they want more Republicans to keep going with this Trump policy. How's it working out, y'all? How's it working out? And so while we can't pay the military, we found money to pay ICE. I don't even know how to break that down. I'm gonna wait on that one. But what we were able to do, right? We were able to find $20 billion to give to Argentina, right? And then they're gonna get another $20 billion in some other kind of money. All of this is our tax dollars, right? All of this is our tax. We just gave Argentina, we're giving Argentina $20 billion to prop up their country, right? While our country is falling apart. Now, here's the kicker. Our farmers, because of tariffs, China said, we're not buying your soybeans anymore. We're just not going to do it. We're not going to buy any more of your stuff. So farmers have not been able to sell a thing to China. They cut out USAID. USAID allowed farmers to sell food to the government to send overseas to people who are hungry. Farmers are not selling anything because they shut down USAID. But farmers overwhelmingly voted for this nonsense. How's it working out for them? But here's the kicker. $20 billion we give to Argentina, $5 billion of that they actually owe to China. So they had to give $5 billion of our dollars to China, and then China turns around and starts buying soybeans from Argentina. What? Wait. I thought America first. Where's the America first? Where's the America first? You bail out Argentina, and our farmers are going to go broke. And they've got people coming on television talking about, well, it'll be better next year. Yet next year they won't have a farm. Because I can just hear the farmer talking to their creditors now. I'm going to be better next year. Can I not pay this bill? That's not how that works. That's not how that works. In the meantime, let's come back to Indiana. FSSA sent out notices to all the child care providers to let them know that the amount of money that they were getting per child to care for per child is decreasing. It's decreasing because when they got that money from COVID, they didn't manage it well. So now they don't have enough money and providers have to take less. Indiana already has some of the highest child care costs in the country. And yes, we want our child care providers to pay their staff a living wage, but then you just told them, well, they're going to get less money. So now what I'm supposed to do, if I have a kid and I'm a single parent and I can't afford, the places that I was going are charging more or somehow or another, I can't afford that because they can't take any more kids. They can't afford it. What am I supposed to do? Oh, I can't work. I guess I should go get some benefits. Oh, nope. You're not getting any SNAP benefits. You see how this is cyclical? You see how all this is cyclical? But we can give $20 billion to Argentina. And then Argentina sells their soybeans to China instead of U.S. farmers selling their soybeans to China. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet because they want to redistrict so we can keep this going. This level of crazy going. Hey, did you know Kristi Noem got $170 million for 2 private jets? Say what? Why does she need 2 private jets? She can only be in one at a time. Why she need 2? And she's terrible at her job anyway. She should catch a bus. She should catch a bus. And, you know, the Orange Menace said, I want to put this picture up because it hurts my heart. Not as much as, this is a picture of the East Wing that has been demolished. The man went in and demolished the people's house without actually getting authorization to do it. But this is, you know, he says he's the president of law and order, but he break every law that's on the books. And Kristi Noem got $170 million for her 2 private jets. And this clown, after saying he is building his ballroom, said he's going to sue the DOJ for $230 million. Do y'all realize that all of that is our tax money? He wants to sue the Department of Justice because he didn't like the fact that they went down to Mar-a-Lago to get those classified documents he wasn't supposed to have. $230 million. $230 million. He literally said, I'm going to sue myself. And then he lied and said he was going to give it to a charity. He got busted for defrauding a charity. What makes you think he's going to give that money to charity? And here's the thing. When I see Mike Johnson and Mike Braun and Micah Beckwith and Todd Rokita and all these simpletons bending over backwards to appease this clown, why? What is it? He is tearing our country apart, literally. Look at the picture. Look at the picture. He is tearing our country apart. He is doing everything he can to destroy each and every one of you because he does not care about you. He doesn't care about your family. He doesn't care about anything but him and his people. And when you cross him, look what he'll do. Look at what happened to the FBI director, used to be his homie. The former security director, advisor, used to be his homie. He got indictments on them. I don't understand. I do get that there's a difference of opinion when it comes to how we govern this nation. I get that, but this is not governing. This is destruction. This is the tearing down of all the systems and all the norms. No, not all of those systems and norms were perfect. Hell, I'm a whole gay black woman. I know some of this mess wasn't perfect. Shoot. And if I was getting robbed, at least they tried to hide it better. At least we had boom in our economy. But this guy, this whole thing, like when it's all written and we come after y'all for destroying our country, what are you going to say? No wonder you're trying to get all the people in the Palestinians in Gaza out of Gaza so you have a place to go when we come for you. You're literally trying to commit genocide and ethnic cleansing in Gaza. Oh, listen, I don't hate on Israel. I don't hate on Jewish people. But y'all know dropping bombs on babies ain't never good. Israel got bombs that we supplied them, and the Palestinians have rocks. Now, I understand Hamas got a few things. And no, Hamas shouldn't have done what they did. But how many lives have to die in Palestine? But that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to build a Mar-a-Lago in Gaza. It ain't even about the Israelis. It really ain't. It's about that waterfront property they want. And I thought you was going to end the Ukraine war. Thought you was going to end it on day one. In fact, I thought you said, I'm going to end it before I get into office, because that's how bad I am. Putin said, I ain't having none of that. Go away. Go away, little boy. Shoo fly, you bothering me. This is where we are. This is not the worst America's been through, because we've been through a civil war. We had 400 years of chattel slavery and women weren't allowed to vote. I mean, there were a lot of things that have been worse than this. But what I am struggling with are all these people like a Senator Cotton who wants to talk about, or Josh Hawley who wants to talk about masculinity and men and all of this. And y'all are just suckers. Y'all getting played left and right. Y'all are letting this happen. I can't get this right. Y'all are letting this happen to the people's house. And this image right here is exactly what is happening to our country. It is being torn apart piece by piece. Now, I will say over 7 million people showed up for the No Kings rally. And I am incredibly grateful to see that some people are going, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Like, this is bad. I'm glad to see that some people are waking up to that. I didn't attend the rally because I had some other things to do, and I did my No Kings rally before the election. I was begging people to stop doing the circular firing squad and let's work together to flip some seats. Stop arguing with each other over, am I a progressive or am I a liberal or am I a blue dog? And let's work together to get some things done. Let's rally around the person who's in the general election. I understand that we have some problems in our party, but the problems that we have in our party will not compare to what happens when all of this blows up. It ain't gonna matter what party. It's not gonna matter. So y'all can, we all believe in relatively the same things. And we all have different types of personalities. So we can have people that can be out front and we can galvanize young people. We got people who can be out front and galvanize black people. We got people that can galvanize gay people and women. Shoot, we got that. But y'all got to get y'all's heads out y'all's behinds and stop arguing with each other over dumb stuff. Yeah, I said it. Because we have what it takes. There's a momentum right now. 7 million people showed up to voice their concern. We should have, I know I did. We should have been rallying those people, finding out what they want to do to help flip seats in 26. I know I did. I went to a town hall as vice president of Indiana Democratic African American Caucus. I went to a town hall out in Pike with Representative Cherish Pryor, Senator J.D. Ford, and Senator Taylor, and the room was packed. And by the time the night was over, I had introduced myself because they asked the question, what can we do, and who is motivating us, and who is galvanizing us, and who is organizing us? And I said, hey, I'm with an organization, IDAC Indy. I got a woman who was 83 years old. She said, Dana, I can't drive around, but I'll phone bank for you. Heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. What are you doing to bring people to the table? Are you just sitting around moaning and groaning about what ain't right? Or have you offered to help fix what ain't right? I know I have. When I lost the county party chair race, I had a meeting with Mila and I said, Mila, here's how I can help you. I'm not mad that I lost. I'm ready to get busy. You the chair, let me work with you. Or are you just screaming and hollering about how bad somebody else is? Won't you help them? Y'all so ready to fight each other instead of fighting the people who is tearing our house down. We're not always going to agree on stuff. I'm not happy about the data centers that are coming in Marion County. Heard tell. There might be one coming up in Pike. Heard tell. We're still trying to fight this one in the Martindale Brightwood area. I am so proud of Martindale Brightwood for coming out and shutting down the street. And I have not had a chance to talk to my city councilor, my city county councilor, Ron Gibson, to find out what his views are. But one thing that I know as a person who has 3 degrees in technology, 3 of them, I recognize the dangers of having AI data centers in our communities. These people who want to build these AI data centers have enough financial resources that they can build it anywhere and create their own energy sources and not take ours and make our prices go up. Not to mention, we having to fight AES. Representative Pryor gave us some great information about how AES is looking to sell. And so they're trying to make their company look better. So they're trying to raise the rates on us so they can increase their profits, not to improve infrastructure, not to give us better quality of service, but literally just to increase their profits. Guys, we can continue on this road of let's fight each other, let's argue with each other. Yeah, I recognize things are not perfect. I get it. But I tell you what, all y'all that want to fight, y'all go ahead. If you want to get down with how do we move things forward, there were over, 60,000 people that showed up to rally in Indiana. If you one of those 60,000 people and you want to do something different and you want to help candidates get elected and you want to help raise money, reach out to me. Scan my QR code right there. I can help you do whatever it is that you need to do. I can show you how to organize. I wanted to have Carla on so bad because her and Samantha Douglas did an amazing precinct committee person training. I've got Dana and Samantha scheduled to come on next month, and they're going to tell you how to become a precinct committee person, how to become a delegate. See, we're about moving things forward. I can't litigate the past. I lost that election, but Mila, how can I help you? Megan, how can I help you? I can't spend time thinking about what ate because they are literally tearing our house apart. They're tearing our house apart, y'all. They're tearing our house apart. And we want to fight over whether or not we need a socialist, a democratic socialist, or a blue dog. We want to fight over if it should be AOC or Schumer. Let them do that in the primary. That's what primaries are for. And people want to talk about who the party puts up and who the party doesn't put up. You still have the power of your vote. You don't have to vote for somebody if you don't like them. You do know that, right? That's why we have primaries. But once the primary is done, you got to get on the side of not tearing our house apart. I don't understand. Like, I don't get it. No, I don't like everybody in the party. No, I don't like every position in the party. No, but you know what I like? I like people being able to eat and not go hungry. I want children to be able to go to school and not worried about ICE showing up to snatch them out of their classrooms. I want people to be able to be on their boats in the Caribbean and not get blowed up. Even if they're drug traffickers, let's haul the boat in and put them on trial. We are just dropping bombs. Y'all, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? You know, I know a lot of people think that the party pays me. No, party don't pay me. Never got paid. If I think, even when I ran for office, I don't think I got any money from the party. I have to look at my campaign finance reports, but I don't think I got any money from the party. And so nobody is paying me other than Act Blue, which is my full-time job, which is to help people raise money in the democratic ecosystem. But that's not the party. That's a nonprofit. So nobody in the party is paying me. Nobody. I am not a shrill for nobody. I am Indiana's own Dana Black, a 55-year-old African-American cross-dressing lesbian doing what she thinks is right. I don't always get it right. Sometimes I make mistakes and I say really dumb stuff. But the bottom line is, y'all got to figure this out. And if you want to fight about who's more D than the other person, who's more progressive than the other, y'all go ahead. But if you about building a coalition of people who want to stop the stupid and get our state and get our country moving in the right direction, reach out to me. I know every Thursday, Congressman Carson has been hosting phone bank events. I saw that there was some remote phone bank events happening, and I would post them. All this energy that you guys have, let's move it in the right direction. Let's do something positive for the people, because people are going to go hungry. People are going to lose their farms. People are going to lose their houses because they can't pay the mortgage. People are going to be struggling because hedge fund managers need their money. And Donald Trump feels like he needs $230 million because he broke the law. I know everybody don't agree with me, and you ain't got to. But if you want to get to work and accomplish some things, because here's the deal, even if the soft, baby soft, wet paper bag soft Republicans in our Senate decide that they want to redistrict, we still can win. And that is literally getting out the vote. Because here's the deal. If their policies were so good and we want more Republicans in power so we can continue with Trump's plan, then why you got to redistrict? Why you got to change the lines? Why you got to cheat to win? If your policies are so fantastic, let people vote on them. Let people vote on them. But y'all not trying to do that. Guys, I need y'all. I need your help. I can't do this by myself. If you want to get down with the African American Caucus, let me know. If you want to get down with Indiana's Own, let me know. If you want to get down with the Marion County Party, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do. If you want to help a candidate in 26, let me know. Scan my QR code. It has all my contact information. I'm easy to find. And let's plot. Let's plot. Because we're already behind the 8 ball. We're already behind the 8 ball. But let's get more people engaged. So by the time the filing period opens up in January, we have an army of volunteers ready to support whoever puts their name on the ballot. Some people are not going to be primaried. So if they're not going to be if they're running in a primary for a general election where a Republican holds that seat and there's no other person running, let's get behind them and help raise money so they can stack those chips. By the time it's time for the general election push, they'll have some money, right? If there's no other candidates. Get with people like Christine Bohm, who's up in Huntington County doing amazing things. She fills her slate every year. Let's get ready to work. Let's get ready to phone bank. Let's get ready to knock doors. Let's get ready to encourage and educate people on the process. Let's teach them how these policies that these people are enacting them are hurting their families. Literally, I just gave it to you. You ain't got to shout it at them like I shouted at you, but you can explain it to them. You're not getting your SNAP benefits because the government is shut down. Say it just like that. Republicans are in control and the government's shut down. That's why you're not getting any money. Just say it like that. Just say it just like that. But if you want to work and not cry about what didn't happen, I've only won one election since I've been in this political space. One. And that was for precinct committee person. I beat Jamaro Dupree, who he is my vice. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. I mean, it does. But are you in it because you want to glorify yourself? Or are you in it because you want to uplift people? I tell you, I am in this. Why I work at Act Blue, why I do this podcast, why I write for the Indianapolis Business Journal, why I'm on Wish TV once a month, why I volunteer for IDAC, why I was on the Indiana Stonewall Democrats for 10 years, right? Why I was the deputy chair of engagement. The only job of all those things, the only one that paid me is Act Blue. I do it because I wake up every morning trying to figure out how I can elect more people who are going to write good policies that improves lives. That's why I do it. Why are you in it? What's your why? Find your compass and figure out why you want to be in this space. Are you in this space because you want to be the loudest person who can scream the loudest and complain about everything and never offer a solution? Or are you trying to offer up some solutions or help implement great ideas? I got to tell you, warm my heart, the president of the Marion County Young Democrats, Gabrielle, sent me a handwritten letter in the mail, old school style. Young Dems president, Marion County Young Dems, thanking me just for the time that we spent together talking to each other and me just giving her advice on how to put things together for their fundraiser. She told me it was a success and she is set up for success. I didn't do that so that I could get shout out in public. I did that because the more I pour into young people, it's going to sprout roots and a strong tree is going to grow. It's going to have lots of branches of a lot of people doing good stuff. Y'all, it's time to find your why. Why are you doing this? Why are you engaged? Why do you want to? They tearing our country apart. People voted against their interests. We told them, like we literally told them, you're voting against your interests if you vote for this guy. Like he's going to put these tariffs in and tariffs are going to be bad for you. We told them. They didn't listen. They let misogyny, racism, transphobia get the better of them. They let all of that. No, it's not 600K in Marion County. It's 600,000 throughout the entire state. We have 600,000 registered voters in Marion County, but not 600,000 people in Marion County receiving SNAP benefits. I saw the question in there. I wanted to make sure I answered that one. So Jackson Franklin joined us tonight. Thank you, sir. I know you're running up in the 5th. I wish you the best of luck. Run your race, but you need some money. You got to raise that money. Because in order to be competitive, you need $2 million. Raise your money. Raise your money now. Stack your chips. Right? Stack your chips. Indiana's own Dana Black, turn left. I know this was a long monologue, and I promise you I'm going to have Carla on because I'm telling you she's a phenomenal advocate. And between her and Samantha, they are doing things. You don't have to wait for permission to serve your community. They're just doing it. I didn't wait for permission. Nobody was looking for the cross-dressing lesbian to be the loudest voice in Indiana Democratic politics. Oh, no. No. She's too radical for that. But I'm still here. I've had people crap on me, talk about me in the streets, and I have done nothing but volunteer my time for the last 10 years, 10 plus years. That's it. Try to figure out how I can be better in helping this mission. Look in the mirror. Ask yourself, how can I be better? Because if you want to help our party, you have to be better. I have to be better. We have to be better. All of us. And no more pointing fingers about who didn't do what or why this ain't getting done. Just do it. Stop waiting. Just do it. You know, just do it. Y'all, Indiana's own Dana Black. Thank you so much for tuning in and letting me rant. Yes, things are upside down right now, but if we come together and we put all of our issues to the side for a moment, we can pick them back up later. Pick them back up later and resolve them later. Right now, the clear and present danger are Republicans in every state and the White House. That is the clear and present danger, not each other. I just ran down a litany of things. We are not the problem. We have problems, but we are not the problem. All right, scan my QR code. I look to hear from y'all. Guys, next week I will be off air. I've got to go out of town. So there will be no show, but there will be one the following week, which I'm really excited about. Who do I have on? Hang on a second. Let me tell you. Because, it's Dana and Samantha. We're going to be talking about how you become a delegate, how you become a PC, what the process is, and what the role requires of you. Okay? So tune in on November 6th, right? So we can talk to you guys about how, not just us asking you to get involved, but we're going to show you how to get involved. That's what we do. We're going to show you how. All right. Indiana's own Dana Black. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.
Turn Left is the property of Black Pearl IT Solutions. Executive producer, Indiana's own Dana Black. Music by www.bensound.com.